It's 2 months. Gary 2,000 naira. Since when my father bought me, I did not buy 1,000 naira pence of Gary. The selling is 2,000 naira now. It's too much. The savannah is too much. Even the rice, the Rika one rice of 1,200 naira. For what reason? It's too much, to buy meat. With even the promoter of dry rice up. And two fish. It's too much. This savannah is too much for this country. Please, if government work, if they cannot protect, we Yalaja, we go up our nyash, we go up our breast, we go protest. Too much savannah is too much for this country. But before you eat self, you go suffer. The savannah is too much. Please, make them find solution for this things. It's too much. Gary 2,000 naira. Since when my father bought me, I did not buy 1,000 naira pence of Gary. The selling is 2,000 naira now. It's too much. The savannah is too much. Even the rice, the Rika one rice of 1,200 naira. For what reason? It's too much, to buy meat. With even the promoter of dry rice up. And two fish for Chicago, 1,200 naira. 3 of the pieces of this too much. This savannah is too much for this country. Please, if government work, if they cannot protest, we Yalaja, we go up our nyash, we go up our breast, we go protest. Too much savannah is too much for this country. But before you eat self, you go suffer. The savannah is too much. Please, make them find solution for this things. It's too much. Gary 2,000 naira. Since when my father bought me, I did not buy 1,000 naira pence of Gary. The selling is 2,000 naira now. It's too much. The savannah is too much. Even the rice, the Rika one rice of 1,200 naira. For what reason? It's too much, to buy.
As you were saying, Olu ti sú wa, epo òkè bí eku mọ́, ẹyẹ òkè bí ẹyẹ mọ́. Gàrí là ń mu sá èmi àtàwọn ẹbí mi àlè jẹ ráìsì mọ́. Ẹ̀wà náà ti wọ́n. Gàrí ọ̀gá ti di 1-2. Ó ti sú mi, orílẹ̀-èdè ti sú mi. Báyìí kọ́ ni wọ́n bá tẹ́lẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ní ọ̀la yìí ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ni wọ́n kà o. Ẹ̀kọ́ Awólọ́wọ̀ wọn kà àlè rán mọ́ sùkúù mọ́. Ayé yín ò dáa. Ó ti sú wa o. Wọ́n bá wá nǹkan sí i àti pọ́lítì. Ẹ rí pé orí mi ga ti pa. Ó ti sú wa o. Ó ti sú wa o. Orílẹ̀-èdè wọn bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí o. Ráìsì ti di Gàrí ti 1-2. Mo tó gbọ́ pé ráìsì ti di 80,000 àpò. Wọ́n bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí i. Tá a bá tún wá bẹ́ẹ̀ rẹ̀ pọ̀ báyìí epo 580. 680, 700 là ń rà. Kí ló dé kí la ṣe? Àwa akórópè gbogbo ẹ̀pọ̀n ní ó máa gbóná lálẹ́ tá a máa fọmi wẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀ pẹ́pẹ́ kan ò mọ́ lànà. Àní rí kankan. Epo náà ní ń bá lọ. Owó skul bíìsì àmọ́ mi wò rí san báyìí. Ayé ni ó dá o. Kazeem Hussein, Olu ti sú wa. Eku òkè bí eku mọ́, ẹyẹ òkè bí ẹyẹ mọ́. Gàrí là ń mu sá èmi àtàwọn ẹbí mi àlè jẹ ráìsì mọ́. Ẹ̀wà náà ti wọ́n. Gàrí ọ̀gá ti di 1-2. Ó ti sú mi, orílẹ̀-èdè ti sú mi. Báyìí kọ́ ni wọ́n bá tẹ́lẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ní ọ̀la yìí ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ni wọ́n kà o. Ẹ̀kọ́ Awólọ́wọ̀ wọn kà àlè rán mọ́ sùkúù mọ́. Ayé yín ò dáa. Ó ti sú wa o. Wọ́n bá wá nǹkan sí i àti pọ́lítì. Ẹ rí pé orí mi ga ti pa. Ó ti sú wa o. Ó ti sú wa o. Orílẹ̀-èdè wọn bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí o. Ráìsì ti di Gàrí ti 1-2. Mo tó gbọ́ pé ráìsì ti di 80,000 àpò. Wọ́n bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí i. Tá a bá tún wá bẹ́ẹ̀ rẹ̀ pọ̀ báyìí epo 580. 680, 700 là ń rà. Kí ló dé kí la ṣe? Àwa akórópè gbogbo ẹ̀pọ̀n ní ó máa gbóná lálẹ́ tá a máa fọmi wẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀ pẹ́pẹ́ kan ò mọ́ lànà. Àní rí kankan. Epo náà ní ń bá lọ. Owó skul bíìsì àmọ́ mi wò rí.
Kọ́lọ́run ọba Elédùmarè kó ṣàánú wa.
I have nothing new to say.
People are hungry.
Let them die. It's their fault. Yeah, I'm supporting Tinubu 100%.
You're supporting Tinubu
100% to deal with Nigerians. People like you. So that when next election comes, I will now see whether when people bring money, you will vote for them or you will do your conscience. I have nothing new to say.
People are hungry.
Let them die. It's their fault. Yeah, I'm supporting Tinubu 100%.
You're supporting Tinubu
100% to deal with Nigerians. People like you. So that when next election comes, I will now see whether when people bring money, you will vote for them or you will do your conscience. I have nothing.
So, but there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
he has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it.
Prof,
and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
and so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Prof, you are a strong member.
You cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you are a strong member of the Nigeria, also a very strong member of Afenifere. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, in these two ideological positions?
Yes.
Come, let me take it for you.
Yes, our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing. Talking about restructuring so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians. They still have a right to come to Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, where to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that Tinubu is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. They are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our...
Well, Prof, let me ask you this. Self-determination, you
are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion, but what I'm saying is that your opinion rigorously avoids the truth. Rigorously.
But Prof,
avoids the truth.
Nigeria, as Onigoti told us in his research on ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, has over 300 ethnic nationalities. Will you recommend self-determination to all the other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria? For all these nationalities to
those who want it have, those who want it, don't ask me a general question. I'm asking for self-determination for a nation, the Yoruba nation. There are about 60 million people in Nigeria, and their territory is large enough to be a large country. So that's what I'm talking about. Any other nationality in Nigeria that wants self-determination is free to ask for it. I cannot come and ask for self-determination for nations that are not mine. No.
Well, Prof, as we have this, we're having this conversation.
Well, that is our Prof there, hitting it hard with Ruben Abati some few months back.
Àtúnmọ̀ pure water báyìí pé kó lọ ra pure water wa pure water ń sìn ó ti di méjì báàgì méjì 500 kí ló tún ṣẹlẹ̀ èwo ló tún ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí kí ló tún kọ pure water omi tá fi ń dáná omi tá fi ń dáná kí ló dé pé gbogbo nǹkan báyìí ìnira ti pọ̀ jù Lagos State yìí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tẹ́ ń ta pure water láti inú mọ́tò méjì 500 méjì báàgì méjì 500 láti inú mọ́tò àwọn tó máa tún ta kọ́lé ló máa tà kí ló pé ìnira á pọ̀ jù ní Nàìjíríà ìnira ti pọ̀ jù àtìgbà tí Buhari ti bọ́lẹ̀ báyìí ni Buhari ti gbé lọ́ọ̀fù ló ti gbé ìfẹ́ lọ kò sí ìfẹ́ mọ́ ìnira ayé ti pọ̀ jù epo wọn àsọ̀rọ̀ gàrí wọn àsọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo nǹkan wọn àsọ̀rọ̀ ṣé bí ọ̀tà omi tá a mu lẹ́tún jẹ́ kó wọ́n omi jọ́sọ̀ omi tọ́lọ́run dá tó ń ṣe pé bóyá pé kínní òun lẹ́tún jẹ́ kó wọ́n ibo la ń lọ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ibo la ń lọ báyìí níbo la ń lọ tó bá ń gbógun la máa jà tí gbogbo wèrè yìí máa fi solve tó bá ń gbógun la máa jà tí gbogbo ìyà tí àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù jẹ yìí táàfin ní jẹ mọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká kúkú jagun ẹ tó bá máa kú kó kú ẹ tó bá máa yè kó yè ìnira àdéhùn ni wọ́n láàyè ó ti pọ̀ jù ẹ̀yin nìkan lè gbádùn kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gan ṣé ilé gbé wáyé wọlé síbẹ̀ ni why we stop to be like this ẹja tí màdù who's the manager go sweet ìjọ olóko.
Which day Nigeria go sweet?
Very clear. We made a declaration saying that it's too late for restructuring in Nigeria. You will remember in 1962, there was a massive problem in Nigeria when Awolowo was arrested. Our people talked to us. There was crisis for over 4 years that led to the coup. There was a Yoruba meeting of elders called the Yoruba Leaders of Thought. We relented. The thing continued. Yoruba has continued to lose ground since that time. In 1993, there was the annulment of the June 10th election. Shiju Ade, the former Oni, spoke and said Yoruba should go ahead and conduct an election. We did. It led to nothing. The same thing happened in 1998, just before the handover to the democratic elected government. Yoruba did not want to go for anything like Nigeria again. But then it failed. Look at where we are. Yoruba has been losing ground since 1914. And we are just tired. We are not for restructuring. It's too late for restructuring in Nigeria. It's too late for sovereign national conference. It's too late for resource control. What we want now is Oduduwa Republic. And we are very categorical about that. We have made that very clear. We have made declarations. And we are very serious about our demands. Every region just go to its own tent. Yoruba wants to be on its own because the problem that Yoruba has is Nigeria. Nigeria is the problem, is the impediment to Yoruba development. Is the impediment to Oduduwa development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1960, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
Well, very good afternoon and welcome to the lecture as we continue our quest and our campaign, as we continue to educate many millions of Nigerians why your life has been stuck in the British created country called Nigeria in 1914. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sí ìkànnì wa tí a ti fi gbé ohùn sókè ní ọ̀sán yìí. Mo kí wa ní kíkí àlàáfíà, mo kí ọmọdé, mo kí àgbàlagbà, mo kí arúgbó, mo kí gbogbo ibikíbi tí ohùn mi bá ti ń dé, gbogbo ẹni tó bá gbọ́ àtẹni tó máa tún gbọ́. Kíkí Elédùmarè, kíkí àlàáfíà, kíkí ti àwọn tí Mùsùlùmí àti àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè àti tàwọn Kristẹni. Bí a ṣe ń jẹ ẹ̀sìn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta náà ló ń jẹ àwọn tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nínú ẹ̀. Bí wọ́n bá ń gbádùn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá wọn ní quality education, wọn ní access sí the basic things of life, and that is the reason why àwa kan ṣe sọ pé it is no longer Nigeria is the impediment to the development of the Yoruba people. Most of us lẹ́ni in tó ń fa awuyewuye tí ẹ fi ń pariwo pé ìyà ń jẹ yín lọ́tún lósì Nàìjíríà ni. Níjọ́ tí a bá ti end orúkọ yẹn, the first thing that will come back is our true identity. And I'm going to play the anthem in just about a few minutes. We need that identity back, and we need it as quickly as possible. Kì í ṣe Nigerians. Ọmọlúàbí ni wá. Àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun ní 1914 ni wọ́n kó gbogbo ìran tó kù àti Yorùbá ni wọ́n kó wọn papọ̀, ni wọ́n fi ń pè ní Yorùbá àti Igbo àtàwùsá àtàwọn ìyà tó kù, and they decided to call it Nigeria. So when some of you argue that there's a country called Nigeria, the question is, what is Nigeria? Igbo ni Nigeria tiwa, we own the territory, àwa la nílẹ̀. England is owned by the royal or the monarchy system. Mo lè wá sí báyìí nísìnyí kí n sọ pé mi mo nílẹ̀ yìí, èmi kọ́ ní. So the British left their own territory. They traveled only God knows how many miles because there was no plane. They came by ship. They came as visitors, as friends. We accepted them. Then all of a sudden, they started selling us in conjunction with some of our people into slave trade. And that went for 500 years plus. After they've done that damage, after that slave trade, we were changed, our names were changed, our identity were changed, we were forced to work without being paid. And when I say we, I'm talking about our forefathers, our foremothers. They didn't get paid by the British and the Portuguese and the Spanish. They were just making use of us as if we were nothing. Today, we are now the one traveling to those countries because the country that they damage for their own purpose is no longer working fruitfully for me and you. So we had no other choice than to start Japa. Whether you Japa in 1970, whether you Japa in 1980, whether you Japa in 1990, whether you are the fresh one Japas in the 2000 up to today, you are Japa. And we started also supporting their own educational system. 44,000 Nigerians came to this country and they were paying nothing less than 22,000 pounds per year just to support the business center of the British institution. And today, majority of us cannot afford it. So we all make it look like we can afford it so that we can get the first leg into the country. Because when you pay probably 50, 40%, I don't know what you're paying, you'll be granted what they call a student visa. A student visa does not even give you a full permission as another Nigerians that Japa some years back because he or she could not go to university, so they had to pay for that purpose. So the difference is that we sacrificed because we didn't go to university. People like me, I didn't go to university because it was too expensive for me to go. So you were deceiving them that you could pay for what you don't have. You probably pay for the first section. But after the first section, you struggle to pay the second section. That is why universities now are saying that we can no longer allow you to stay in this country because you told us you have money. I never told them I had money. I told them straight up that I will withdraw my application. I can't continue. And that means that I could not further that university that you are now coming in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021. And you have got stuck because Tinubu came in and deceived us that it was not as different as Buhari. But Tinubu and Buhari, you are the same. There's no difference between Bola Tinubu and Muhammadu Buhari. The only difference we can only say for now is that Buhari brought in jihadis to kill us. Tinubu thought he could reverse it, but the jihadis say we are not going anywhere. Rather, the economy is crumbling. The education that Tinubu could not afford by giving us 7% in the budget. So why are you living in denial? Why are you hoping that you will be successful in that contraction? You will never be successful. There is no amount of prayer. It is just that the British doesn't want us to be successful as Yoruba people, as Igbo people, as Hausa people, because we are all different. And that is why Baba Kitoye told me and the rest of the media that go out there. I have printed it out. You can see it. This is a 95-page that says there, the good news. It is the path to prosperity. You are looking for prosperity in the zoo. You are looking for prosperity in the zoo that you are never going to get. There will never be prosperity inside Nigeria because Nigeria was not designed to work. We are one people, one culture, one language. We are not the same, and we can never be the same. And that is where we kickstart the afternoon broadcast today. Probably not be long, but I will say good afternoon and welcome to Yoruba Nation Conversation on Koikimedia.
See
how do you fix a country that the constitution doesn't represent every single one of us? How do you make sure that a constitution that is meant to guide us, that is meant to make sure that we can hold the criminals among us, whether it is a criminal that sold something to you, whether it is a criminal that is selling something that you don't have right to return, whether it is a criminal from the politician or the average Nigerians, what I can tell you is that your 1999 constitution have not been able to sustain me and you for the last 23 years of democracy. It has literally brought more problems that we can think of. So when many of you say that, oh, we are going to make Nigeria a better place by supporting the criminal APC and the PDP that were there previously for 16 years, you are living in denial, because there is no way you will be able to do so. Because the system that has been provided through the Constitution is not working in favor of every single one of us. I picked up something this morning from what we called a particular X handle, formerly known as Twitter. And the handle is known as our Fave Online Doctor. He's got a good follower. He's a medical doctor, family physician, libertarian, Nigerian by birth, British by economic circumstances. I want you to hold on to that word. He is a medical doctor, family physician, libertarian, Nigeria by birth, even though we know, quote and unquote, Nigeria was put together for a particular reason. It is a trade reason that the British created Nigeria for their own selfish gains. It has nothing to do with me and you. It is not going to make any impact on our lives, because British knew that we, the Yorubas, are far well intelligent, much better, much capable to run a modern country. But rather, the British gave the Fulani the hedge against all other indigenous people that were far better than the Fulanis. So the British, as they were giving you the fake independence, handed over Nigeria to their Fulani stooge. So their Fulani stooge continue to manage the affairs of Nigeria till today. So this particular on our Fave Online Doctor said, and I quote, that the reason why is British by economic circumstances. So let us find the meaning of economic circumstances. What are the economic circumstances? Do we say that the economic circumstances is that I left Nigeria because something wasn't seems right with this currency? This is the reason why I left Nigeria about 24 years ago. There was something not right with this fraudulent currency that does not have any value up to today. The pounds as at today against the naira is 1,900 naira. So if I have 10 pounds and I have to send it to you in Nigeria for whatever reason, you okay? Are you hungry? Not yet. If I have to send you these 10 pounds, these 10 pounds will give you about 19,000 naira. So you would have 19,000 naira of these. You probably need about roughly, because the rice is 80,000 naira, depending on where you're buying it from. So you will need about 4 times of these for me to send to you to convert it to naira so that you can be able to sustain yourself and your family. The reason why many of you are struggling in the day of what is known as Nigeria is because the British knew that after the independence that they could not do the slave trade, that the Bank of the Church of England was also involved in the slave trade. The slave trade means that many Yoruba people plus other Africans were shipped away from their territory that they created through their own system through their own beliefs, through their own belief system, and then force those people to come and work in the slave trade. They didn't get paid for that. Millions of innocent Yoruba people died during that process. So after many years of what was created for their own selfish gain, we were then told that we got independent in 1960. So you would assume that the independence of Nigeria would make every one of us to live comfortably, to expect us to at least have meaning to life. But that was never going to work, because underneath, the proxies United Kingdom was working behind the scene, making sure that they were still overshadowing the rest of the indigenous people. Remember that the first election in 1959 was rigged by the British. The British rigged that election because they knew that Awolowo was going to win that election without any reason. And they knew that Awolowo, that was a very highly capable, intelligent man as at the time, that fought for the independence of Nigeria with Azikiwe and Tafawa Balewa and the rest of them, was capable to manage the affairs of Nigeria without the interference of the British. The British were not going to allow such. So what they have to do is to make sure that the election was never going to favor Awolowo. So when some of you are complaining about the fraudulent INEC election that has been conducted in the last 23 years, the British gave that reason in the beginning in 1959. So the election rigging started from the British system that they were used to suppress, to subjugate the rest of the Nigerians, especially the Yorubas. So when those of you are saying that they are stealing ballot box, have you ever thought about it that the July 4th election in UK can be done without stealing a ballot box, without anybody killing each other? You will vote for whoever you want. Whether you want to keep Rishi Sunak, you will vote for the Conservative. Whether you want to save Labour to come back after the 14 years of the failed Conservative government, you will then vote without no intimidation. The British never told us that, oh, we can have that same system in Nigeria. But what they've told Nigerians is that get your PVC, you will be able to get who you want in. But we know that that is a lie, because what we saw is that the intimidation that has been going on since 1999 with the fraudulent election, the only most freest election was 1993. But again, Babangida, in conjunction with the West, would never allow the late Chief M.K. Abiola to become Nigerian president. Because again, M.K. Abiola was just too intelligent for them, just as Awolowo was intelligent for them. So the Yoruba people have continued to be suppressed by the West, by the backing of the British, as their proxies continue to work on their behalf, which are the Fulanis. So when the Yorubas are saying that we should save Nigeria, you are not saving Nigeria, you are protecting Nigeria for the British interest and the rest of the global world that wants to milk and suck you, so that you would then have to come and study in UK and pay about 40 million naira that you don't have in the first place, because you are not like the Yaya Bello, a criminal politician that dipped his hand right inside the coffer of the government and took $720,000, equivalent to about 80 billion naira, to an American school registered in Abuja. The American school never questioned the money. Imagine if I pay $720,000 to an American school up front, the government of America will question me, where did I get the money from? But because it is in Nigeria, the American school did not check where the money is coming from, because they know the amount of corruption, because they want to sustain their own business. So the American school have been receiving corrupt money in their system. It is not just Yaya Bello. I am sure that many other Nigerians that have stolen government funds have now paid American school in Abuja so that they can continue to survive. Would you ever use money, add-end money, and pay upfront for your student in America and UK without being questioned? Who is that? This is the reason why we are saying to so many of you, studying abroad, you will sweat. You would not have enough to sustain it, because you have been given the false hope that when you arrive in the United Kingdom with your 16 hours or your 20 hours, you will be able to fund that education. You will not, because those education cannot be funded when you don't have the backing of your country, especially as your currency continue to depreciate against the other currency that you are trying to use. Okay, do Nigeria have the resources? Yes, every region have their own resources. The North has enough to convert into the solar energy and sell it off to other countries across Africa, because the weather in the North as of today can go up to 40 in terms of the degree. That means that we can use that to make money. The rest of the other countries, the rest of the other Nigerians in different parts also have enough to sustain. The reason why you are in abject poverty is not because there's a spiritual attack, it's because it's a deliberate act not to make Nigerians that are indigenous to survive. Ken Saro-Wiwa was fighting until Abacha decided that you cannot challenge me. And what happened? Ken Saro-Wiwa was murdered. Kenelu Benson, known as Ken Saro-Wiwa, was a Nigerian writer, a television producer, and an environmental activist that was complaining that something doesn't seem to be right when Shell was taking so much money with the crude oil and destroying the ecological area of that Niger Delta area where they were taking the crude oil from. They destroyed the farming, the fishing rather, because in that region is more about fishing. So they literally destroyed the fishing sector. So that means that you would have to then get imported fish from Ireland into Nigeria rather than getting the best fish from Niger Delta. And when he started challenging the government of the day, Abacha said, "Who the hell are you to challenge my authority? Who is challenging the authority of me, the military dictator that wants Shell to continue to suck you dry, to continue to make sure that your life will not be meaningful and will not be respected, not in Nigeria, not even outside Nigeria?" Because we saw the pastor as he was traveling with his congregation in Cairo, where he was almost gonna go to the prison because of this fake Nigerian passport that many of you think that is a valid, authentic passport. I still have mine, but it doesn't make any difference. So let's go through Ken Saro-Wiwa to continue. Amnesty International in 2017, Shell complicit in the arbitrary execution of the Ogoni 9. They were not just one. We had not just Ken Saro-Wiwa, we also had 8 other Nigerians that owns the territory, that owns the resources, but Shell was complaining that they were disturbing them, and Abacha decided that we will kill them, and they were executed. Right then, the international community shut down Nigeria from those other things that they went to do. But what happened? They needed Nigeria, so they had to make sure that it comes back to the market. Oil giant Shell stand, and this is coming from June 29, 2017 on the Amnesty International, says Nigeria Shell complicit in the arbitrary execution of Ogoni 9 as the writ served in the Dutch court. New case could put an end to the decade of impunity for Shell. Esther Kirby has fought for the justice for her husband for more than 20 years. So when some of you say you are looking for justice for those individuals that have been killed recently, I pray that you get that justice, because we couldn't get justice for Ken Saro-Wiwa. We couldn't get justice for Delegiwa. We couldn't get justice for those that have been killed for like over 30 years. And you expect them to get justice for those that have been murdered recently. And I don't have to mention names. A lot of you know the people I'm talking about. Oil giant Shell stand accused of complicit in the unlawful arrest, detention, and the execution of the 9 men who were hanged. Do you know what it means to hang people that owns the land? Because Shell, that doesn't own the land, Shell is an international organization that came into our territory, stole from us just because they had the support of a corrupt military officer known as the late Sani Abacha. You can see why the danger that we are saying to many Yoruba people, let us come down from this shit-hole contraction zoological country you are calling Nigeria, because you will never get justice for you, for myself, for our family, for the rest of many innocent people that have now been sent into their early graves. Many people that have died in Nigeria are dying because there is no system to support your life. And that is why, according to the World Health Organization, you will not survive 52 years as a Nigerian. If you do, that means you are likely to just survive it by chance. If I haven't welcomed anybody, I will have to welcome my beautiful mother. And I say good afternoon, Mom, for joining us on the live transmission. The rest of you, I say good afternoon, and I'll just crack on. So let us go back. In the 90s, this was what the Nigerian military government, as at the time, because Shell was reporting somebody. Imagine people that owns the land. Shell was reporting there that they were creating problem for them to extract crude oil that doesn't belong to them. Do you understand what this means? That the reason why me, you, and many people that believe in the right of the Yoruba people to pull out is because we can secure that resources so that nobody is stealing the gold from Osun State and send it to United Arab Emirates, and then you end up going to United Arab Emirates as a Yoruba man, but you are not respected, even knowing that your gold is part of the gold that they are selling across all the United Arab Emirates, including Dubai. Do you understand that this was what led to the detention, arrest? I mean, if Ken Saro-Wiwa was only detained and kept in the prison, it would have been a different matter because he would still be alive. But do you know that Ken Saro-Wiwa did not survive it? I will give you at what age he died. Ken Saro-Wiwa died just 2 years ahead of the World Health Organization that says that Nigerians will not survive up to 52 years. You can see why I keep using that word. If you survive more than 52 years in Nigeria, just say that at least Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Elédùmarè, Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Jésù Kristi, Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Ken Saro-Wiwa was murdered right in Nigeria on the 10th of November 1995, 2 years after Babangida annulled the election. You can see how the whole thing kept on going, revolving. Babangida annulled election. They detained Abiola into the prison. Abiola was murdered because we know Abiola was murdered. But while Abiola was in the prison, Abacha was dealing with everybody, using Sergeant Roger, using Mustafa al-Mustafa to execute as many people. Kudirat Abiola was just almost did not survive it. And you are now saying that you want to save Nigeria. Who the hell are you to save Nigeria? Nobody will save Nigeria. The world does not want Nigeria to be saved. We, the Yoruba, must come together. The Biafra must come together. The Ijaw must come together. The Arewa must come together. All the indigenous people must come together and save their own ethnic indigenous people. We are not tribes. We don't know each other. We have never known each other from the day one because we were all created separately. We were all created indistinctly. We were all created to walk and survive in this world. But the evil world will not allow you to survive. That is why many of us have stayed behind in UK, in America, in Canada, and as many of you are trying to survive it out, Ken Saro-Wiwa did not survive it. He died at age 54 on the 10th of November, 1995. He was not just killed, he was hanged. Do you know what it means to hang somebody until the death comes out of you? Abacha asked for the video evidence so that he can confirm that Ken Saro-Wiwa and the 8 were all executed by hanging. This is the Nigeria that you want to save. This is the Nigeria that you think that it is all about leadership. It is all a planned work not to make Yoruba people, the Igbo people. We don't know each other before. The fight going on between the Yoruba and the Igbo today, I am sure was never there before 1914 because we don't know each other. Everybody was in their own territory, managing their affairs with their people. Until the British decided to put us together, and then the bigotry, the hatred, and that hatred will continue because there will never be peace in Nigeria until the dissolution of Nigeria. So if you're expecting that we will love each other because you have got married to an Igbo woman, to an Yoruba man, that would not resolve the problem. There is no amount of your hatred for the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Arewas, the rest of Nigeria. It is what the British wanted. And until we all pull back, and then we can start shoving it and then asking ourselves questions. You want to resolve what Ken Saro-Wiwa was trying to do, you will die along the line. That is why you were all killed during the NSAS. And Tinubu ran out to France because he knew what was going on. Because the NSAS was part of what would have at least changed the dynamic. Even if it has not given us the nation, they had to end it. Some of you even say it was the Igbo agenda because the Igbo wanted to take off Lagos. But imagine that if Igbo was not joined with us in 1914, Igbo would not dare want to take Lagos State from us. The British is behind a lot of these. The British knew that the love will never be among us. So they have done what they say, go and fight each other. While we stay behind and then say, oh, injustice is happening, we will discuss it. Oh, go and fill the petition. Oh, make it 100,000 so that we can discuss it at the parliament. The same parliament that brought in what is known as Nigeria today. The same parliament that brought constitution that was used to manage Nigeria. Do you understand what that means? Let's finish what we are reading as Shell complicit in the arbitrary execution of the Ogoni 9. This is still a discussion from education that Babaki Toye said I should tell you on the number 3. Today is the day 3. And this is a full loaded one I printed. It cost a lot to print it out if I was in Nigeria. It is not cheap here as well, but at least I love to have a copy like this. So let's read further. Now that we knew that Shell is complicit for the detention, execution of the 9 men who were hanged by Nigeria's military government in the 1990s, Amnesty International can reveal today, following the launch of an explosive new case against the company in the Netherlands over 4 of the execution. The civil case was brought by Esther Kobe, the widow of Barima Kobe, and the 3 other women. Esther Kobe has pursued Shell for 20 years over the death of her husband. He was hanged in 1995 along with the writer, human rights activist Ken Saro-Wiwa, and 7 other men collectively known as Ogoni 9. At the time, the execution sparked a global outcry. The global outcry is only for a short period of time. Oh, NSAS! Oh, NSAS! Hey, NSAS! Everybody, NSAS! NSAS! And as soon as everything goes, the world will say, oh yeah, we are telling the Nigerian government to reform. Up to today, innocent Nigerians are still being killed. And I can tell you some of the updates. Because according to our writers on the Koikimedia.com, couple of Nigerians were killed because gun that British police does not use anyhow, but the Nigerian police that the British created Nigeria allowed them to use it. But some of you will say, but we have been given independent. You were never being given an independent. What you were given was something to be managed by the Fulani against the rest of us. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Today is the 5th of June, 2024. Self-determination. Over 170 repentant Boko Haram terrorists surrender to the terrorists, to the troops of the multinational joint task force, repentant Boko Haram. Yet, some of you continue to point finger at the IPOB as terrorists, but they can repent the Boko Haram And then they can bring them back and welcome them back into the society. And when they come back into the society, they create more havoc for you and me and the rest of us. Let's go further. According to the report that is coming from Nigeria today, a lot of news, but there's a particular one I would have loved to touch on. If I can't find it now, I will move on and probably find it later if I can. But let's stick back to Ken Saro-Wiwa. Esther Kobe accused the Shell of complicity in the unlawful arrest and detention of her husband, the violation of his personal integrity, the violation of his right to a fair trial and his right to life. Many Nigerians will never, and I mean it, you will never, until you come out of Nigeria and support your indigenous people that wants to have self-determination. And I repeat it again, and don't call God because you have disrespected God too much in that shithole country. Leave God out of this now. You will never have the right to life in Nigeria. Ní right sí ẹ̀mí nínú Nàìjíríà wọ́n máa gbẹ̀mí lójoojúmọ́ nítorí pé that is what the system has been created. That is why they cannot fix Lagos-Ibadan Expressway for 20 years because a máa gbẹ̀mí ni gbẹ̀mí níbẹ̀ yẹn a máa gbẹ̀mí lójoojúmọ́ bó ṣe máa gbẹ̀mí nìyẹn gbẹ̀mí and the rest of the network in Yoruba land and the rest of Nigeria. That road network is to take your life. Ó máa yọ ẹ̀mí kúrò lára yín when you are not meant to die. I am not saying that accidents do not happen on the M25, on the A406 across UK network, but the road that has not been fixed for 20 years in a Yoruba land where they are making so much money from their Apapa port, that road should have been completed with a rail network going through it and going through it on a very smooth way. Many of you will die. You will die before your time in Nigeria because Nigeria is meant to take your life because life is not guaranteed. Life is not respected. And right to life is not going to sustain in that zoo country called Nigeria. And you can argue with yourself because some of you get upset and angry when I talk like this. Some of you, you've lost your loved ones because when they got to the hospital, they were asking for this shithole currency. Even the dead is not respected. We've seen it, we've had it. We saw our beautiful auntie, a mother expecting twins, Bolanle Rahim, was shot by a trigger officer on Christmas Day. May the soul rest in peace. Ama gbẹ̀mí ama yọ ẹ̀mí tí kò jẹ́ kó lọ. And this is the reason why you must support Yoruba Nation. This is the reason why you will support Yoruba Nation because Yoruba Nation is the only option. Biafra Nation is the only option. Most of you, this generation, you will die if you do not support this movement because it is not that I'm cursing you. It is what happened. Ken Saro-Wiwa was murdered, executed, not executed alone, hanged. Do you know what that means? Do you know that what Ken Saro-Wiwa was fighting for was justice for his people? And this is what we are saying to you. If you truly love yourself, you should start campaigning for the right to self-determination. How is that going to happen? Tell them to bring down that fraudulent constitution and let us ask everybody who wants to remain in Nigeria and who doesn't want to remain. You cannot force people to remain together. You will create friction, and I can tell you, there might be another civil war if we are not careful. It is not something we should work towards. It's not something that we should pray for. We should pray for peace. But these crazy politicians that are working on behalf of their cronies, they are pushing Nigeria for another civil war. And that is why we are crying out, we are shouting now, so that you can also support it. Rather, come in. Nobody is calling for war. 30 to 40,000 innocent people have died in Palestinian Yet the world looks away as if it is nothing. America cannot stop it. UK cannot stop it. All the other countries refuse to stop it. The war continues, and many lives have been lost. 80,000 people, from their legs cut off, from their hands cut off, in different parts of Palestinian today, suffering. Because, why? The execution of the Ogoni 9 shocked the world. But today, a watershed moment in Esther Kobe's uphill battle. You okay? What do you want? His brother making something for you?
Yeah, you're making steak.
You making something for them? For justice, Shell has to answer for the bloody footprint it left in over Ogoni land. Bloody footprint that the British left after the 1914 amalgamation. Blood footprint that is creating many deaths through the economy, through everything. And I will leave that and I'll go straight to what I picked up from, our favorable online doctor. You can follow him out. But he was also saying that the reason why he's in UK is because of economic circumstances. Economic conditions refer to the state of a macroeconomy, variables and trends in a country at a point. Such conditions may include gross domestic product, growth potential, the unemployment. Millions of Nigerians and Yoruba people, unemployment. Níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Kékèké táwọn òbí tún ṣe, wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn through taxation that Bola Tinubu thinks that is the way to grow the economy. You cannot grow economy by taxing people. Nigeria will never work. There is no amount of your God that you call. Nigeria is already failed and is dead like the Titanic. It is buried. We are only waiting for when the final funeral will allow us to leave it and set up a system of government that will work for you and me. And according to Baba Kitoye, in the following pages, I try to present the glorious picture of our soon-to-come country, our Orilede Yoruba. I try to describe the dreams that are impelling millions of Yoruba men and women in all countries of the world to engage. Majority of you don't want to engage. Majority of you do not want to engage. But one thing is, you will be forced to engage because the economy will continue to bite you and bite you and bite you and bite you, and and you will force out to cry out. Because anytime you bá pa screw it. Ebi pa mí fún mi lóúnjẹ náà. Kí ló ṣe ni mo jẹ? Fún mi lóúnjẹ náà. Kí ni mo ṣe fún mi lóúnjẹ náà. Àrùn yẹn á máa fà yín. You will. I saw a video of a young man went into the home of another man. They were still stealing in the house while the man, maybe heart attack, is dead. You might say you will be free, you will be secure because you are rich or you are not rich, but you are in Lagos. But that death trap is all over Nigeria today. The death trap is all over because the people that you refuse to give jobs, the people that you refuse to support through welfare state system, through benefit system, through everything, they will come for those of you that think that you are secured. They will come after you one at a time. It is just a matter of when all this is going to happen. But we are waiting. But Bola Tinubu has nothing to offer. But Baba Kitoye said I should tell you the content of what we have been discussing in the last couple of weeks. Number one, we are a nation with proud root and a proud history. Number two, in the independent Nigeria, we have suffered a serious decline and agony. We are treating number three right now. We shall revive and strengthen our education. But education ló ti wà dilapidated. Kò sí toilet tí ọmọ lè fi yàgbẹ́ ní gbogbo primary school nílẹ̀ Yorùbá láàárọ̀ yìí. Is there toilet in your school?
Yeah.
So if you want to go to toilet, do you go outside or you do poo-poo inside the bath toilet seat? Where do you normally go to toilet? Inside.
Yeah.
Is the toilet good? Is it clean?
Some of them no.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
But you have toilets.
Yeah, but some of them have tissue. One of them has tissue on the floor.
He has tissue on the floor. But did you report to your teacher? Why? Why didn't you tell your teacher?
I didn't even know what to do.
Okay, all right. That is just a primary school. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni nísìn, when people want to poo-poo, wọ́n á ní kó wọnú igbó lọ. Ibi tó bá ti ń yàgbẹ́, ejò á gé wọn jẹ nídìí. First and foremost in our orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, we shall seriously revive our national character. Ọmọlúàbí ni wá. We now see people dancing yo-yo on TikTok. We now see criminals. We now see drug barons, yahoo, and you blame them when the system that should support everyone have stolen their life future. And when some of you say, oh, there is future in Nigeria, there will never be future in Nigeria. When I was in Abeokuta Grammar School, we never had a proper basic toilet. Amalonse short put ni. Wa yagbe sínú tissue inú paper kan, wa wa fling it. Ibi tó bá gbà kó gbà. That is in 1991/1995. Can you imagine this thing? Probably maybe some private school have good toilet, but who can afford private school? Ṣé ìwọ lè rán yàn lọ sí private school? Ṣé wọ́n tó ìtì ìjẹun ló máa rán yàn lọ sí private school? Many private schools today are even as dilapidated more than the public school. But you will not know. You saw the young boy that was killed because one OG mobile phone. If you steal something, you allow the authority to deal with it. Oh, no. One, not for more than 10 hours. The young boy died in a private school. The parent thought that it was safe. I told you that you will all be eating yourself, because if I steal a mobile phone in this country, and I dare not, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phones, there is no reason for me to go and steal any phone. But if I dare steal any phone in a secondary school right here, or in a university, they dare not touch me. They dare not beat me. They would have to report me to the authority. The authority then will report me to the police, and then justice will be served, not by the police, by the magistrate court or the local court. But Nigerians take their hands and beat them. But when Yaya Bello was stealing $720,000 to feed his own children for the same education, to take your future, none of you go to and look for Yaya Bello and do justice to him as you do justice to people that steal akara and bread. I do not condone crime. I am just using it for analysis. So when I say that I left Abeokuta Grammar School in 1995, mo ever re-toilet ni Abeokuta tí mo fi ṣetán. For the period that I was in Abeokuta Grammar School, I dare not go into the toilet that they say is that latrine that is smelly. It was when I go home and I arrive in this country and I saw schools that have basic toilets, and I realized that something is wrong there. I have my Agzoba brother watching me right now. Let him confirm if there was a toilet in Abeokuta Grammar School as at 1995. Shalanga Benny. He's watching me right now. Bambino _entertainment. I was with him at Abeokuta Grammar School throughout the period, and is currently the president of Agzoba 995. Let him say that not a proper toilet. Timothy, so toilet be WC to my flush. Is it that we don't have the intelligentsia people? Is it not that we don't have the people that can create that toilet? It's because you are forced to live in that contraction. So our youth development program will transform our nation. I hear Dio Israel. I don't have anything against him. Oh, I am building a strategy for the Nigerian youth. What strategy? The strategy that his grandfather could not build. The strategy that his father could not build. He wants to now build strategy for the youth. Which youth? Continue to live in denial. Continue to live in denial. The zoo has collapsed. It is just waiting for the final burial. Nigeria will not work. Let everybody go their separate ways. Bola Tinubu is only working for the interest of those that he believes put him in there. And I've told you is the weaker element. 1 year. We will all witness, and I will still be here telling you, and I hope by that time Yoruba people will have found their way. Tinubu has 10 more days. 10 more days for him to respond back to our letter. He has every reason not to reply us. But the Yoruba people will know the next thing to do. Thank you so much for those of you that are coming in and say you are new on the platform. This platform stands for self-determination only. Nothing less, nothing more. So let me go back to the tweet, that the first tweet I picked up this morning by what I say, our favorite online doctor is a very popular young man on Twitter known as X. And this is what he has to say in a tweet that has gone viral this morning. And he's been doing a lot. So I'll pick that tweet because he's done so much. That tweet was very early these hours of the morning. And I'm going to pick it up now in a minute. Moki Bugwalen Konsi. And a very, very good afternoon. Bear with me because he's done a lot and he has a lot of followers. Yeah, I found it. So he's actually responding back to another Dr. Charles Omole. I will first read what Dr. Charles Omole have written and what the other doctor has written as well. And I can share the link of the tweet for the benefit of those of you that might want to do a follow-up to that. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome. As you're joining, remember that this platform has been shadow banned. That means that majority of my message will not filter out quickly. All you can do for me is share and make sure as many people can follow as well. I am OLAYOMI KOIKI, popularly known as Koikimedia on the social media. A self-determination, a proud nationalist, and a supporter of the disintegration, dissolution, the breakup of Nigeria as quickly as possible. I hope those castigating the government know that it is not compulsory you stay in the employ. This is what the other doctor responded to. So, Mukokogoro Kaile Katokanye. Dr. Charles Omole, as at Dr. C. Omole, wrote this. I hope those castigating the government know that it is not compulsory you stay in the employment of government. If you are not happy with the 60,000 naira offer wages, you can find. Bear with me because I want to be sure. I'm not sure whether my. Okay, definitely. The Twitter space went off. I started again. Bear with me. Koikimedia live broadcast. If you are not happy with the 60,000 naira offer as a minimum wage, you can resign and go and get another better paying job elsewhere. You don't have to stay where you are not being appreciated. You can't force an employer to pay more than he feels he can afford. But you are free to resign and leave. It is your constitutional right. By the way, do you people know what percentage of government workers are on minimum wage with a question mark? You will be surprised that there are not as many as you think as a proportion of overall head count. If you can live comfortably on minimum wage, what is the benefit of aspiration, education, and getting skilled? Read the act and see who gets minimum wage in government. There tend to be unskilled, uneducated workers performing routine manual jobs. It is merely a starting point from where you make progress. Most workers working for the federal government are not on minimum wage. So we need a sense of proportionality in this debate. If you increase the minimum wage, you have to increase all the wages as well to maintain parity of levels in the civil service. The cost of government is not just MW increment. It is an increase across the board for all staff. This is what he wrote. Now, Ejekawagbo into the other person, Kolilori, and this is one that's our faith online doctor, and he wrote this. Guys, please read over again. If you are not happy with 60,000 naira offer as minimum wage, you can resign and go and get another better job elsewhere. All right, sir. I will give you the respect you deserve as an alleged well-educated. These are Yoruba people. At least one that we've read. You can see the tone, Tofi Soro. And I hope you understand what is happening here now. These are the people that want us to keep Nigeria. Even though one other argument from this, our other doctor, at least is still inconsiderable. Let's listen. All right, sir. I will give you the respect you deserve as an alleged well-educated elder on this platform and ask few clear questions which someone of your intellect should ordinarily have considered before putting out this kind of frankly obviousness tweet. Number one, there is a massive unemployment and under unemployment. Maybe no, I lost my. Okay, it's back. All right, that one is gone. We've got to start it again. There is a massive unemployment and underemployment across Nigeria right now, which has been exacerbated by the current government and their party's consistent mismanagement of the country's welfare. With food inflation figures almost 40% and the widespread unemployment everywhere, please, where exactly should these people who are government workers that are underpaid and sometimes even whole go to get these imaginary jobs you're talking about with a question mark? With small businesses being choked and strangulated due to unfriendly government policies, with even multinational corporations exiting the country, leaving behind massive numbers of unemployed people. Again, I ask you, please, where are their jobs you want these people to go to with a question mark? Number two, if they follow this advice from you and resign, where they are waiting to get another imaginary job, which we both know does not exist, but for debate's sake, let's say it does exist while they are jobless and waiting. Please, what should they eat? Question mark. In a sane climate, when you are unemployed and seeking another job, there are benefits and payment that the state gives you to support you while you seek a new job. Do we have such protection in place for unemployed people in Nigeria? Question mark. That is benefit and welfare system. Number three, you claim the government cannot afford the minimum wage as it will mean increased salary across board for all workers. This is true. I suppose anyone who is sensible and intelligent can agree the minimum wage of 400,000 naira is largely untenable. However, 60,000 is callous and cruel as well. But I wonder where your fierceness and anger is when we consider how wasteful and furious the government has been with national spending. We pay senators 25 million naira monthly, the highest paid lawyers in the world, yet we are one of the poorest countries on earth. Where is your anger on this? Question mark. We dedicated billions of naira yearly to subsidize people on their religious fantasy exclusion to Mecca and Jerusalem. Where is your anger on this? Question mark. But somehow you draw the line on hard-working civil servants demanding a better pay so that they don't starve to death. Sir, where is your empathy? Where is your compassion? Question mark. And where is your humanity? Question mark. You tweet Rex to insensitive. Eh? Get the cup. Get the cup.
Why?
Get the cup.
I said chocolate milk.
Is it the one you drank yesterday?
Yes.
You tweet of insensitive, lack of empathy, zero compassion, cold detachment from reality, a total unfortunate lack of understanding of what of on-ground hardship and suffering that people are going through in Nigeria. These are what all the crazy diaspora these are what the diaspora are doing. They are not on ground to witness the pain, the suffering of millions of Nigerians, but they sit down in their own cocoon and then write rubbish and defend the failed government of Bola Tinubu that continue from where Buhari stopped. Because Tinubu is part of APC. He cannot take himself out as an independent person. He is part of the corrupt government of the APC that Buhari destroyed. He is just doing the same thing that Buhari has done, probably in a new style. You sadly remind me of the 18th century popular phrase, "Let them eat the cake," which a French princess allegedly told her people when she was informed they could no longer afford to eat bread. These went out with me this morning, and I'm not making this up. I went out with this La Roy. You can guess what is inside. A guess kilo wa nínú ẹ̀. I went out with this. Not that I'm promoting this, I want to buy money in London. I went out with this.
How would you get?
I went out with this.
Oh.
I went out with a bottle of water, and there's another drink. I've just put it back in the fridge. Out of everything I went out with, I agree that probably I ate something along the road. But the major thing, I did not eat it. And I'll tell you what is inside. These are the 3 eggs I boiled before I left the house this morning. I can't mention name because it's very hot in here. But for the fact that eléyìí tí mo ti rò pé màá fi jẹ yín pé màá jẹ òun lélẹ̀ avocado ó padà wá sílé ṣíbí tí máa fi jẹ mo mú dání pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Continue to say at the play bí èmi nìyá máa jẹ bí àyìn nìyá máa jẹ ẹnu ẹ̀ ní gbogbo jọ wà. Bon, I love my sneakers. Ẹlẹ́nu dúdú lèmi náà. Mo jẹ ẹyọkan ilé. Ṣíbí tí mo fẹ́ fi jẹ avocado yẹn lélẹ̀. You see it? Mo ti wò pé òun ni màá fi scoop ẹ̀, màá fi jẹ. But I had no reason to eat any of these. Kí ló dé? Kí ló? Ẹ jọ pé ní o, and they go and sit down there. Méjèèjì gbogbo kìíní ẹ̀ bá mi padà wálé. Is it possible pé n tó wà Nàìjíríà lè ṣe the same thing? Ṣé mo pé mo jẹun níta yẹn? That cost me. I bought a breakfast from McDonald's. There's nothing wrong in that. Gbogbo ilẹ̀ rí intimo post that I was having access to a free Wi-Fi of McDonald's. I bought their breakfast. It cost me with the hot chocolate. Ẹni tó serve me, torí yàn kí n parọ́. Torí ó ṣe é ṣe kó lọ wọ program kódà Koiki ò bá dẹ̀ sọ pé McDonald's ló jẹ́ náà. Ìbí ọ̀dọ̀ mi ìbí ọmọ Yorùbá ni ọmọ Ọ̀ṣun state ni. Monsuru lórúkọ ẹ̀. Àbí ṣe rí báyìí mo ti rí tó jálà. Lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ mo sọ Yorùbá sí. Lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni mo sọ Yorùbá sí. Ó dẹ̀ respond dáadáa. Ẹlòmíì ò ní respond. A dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Mo ní mo fẹ́ McDonald's breakfast. Mo ní hot chocolate. Mo ní tí bá máa ra extra. Tó máa jẹ́ cup tó máa jẹ́ big. Ó ní bíi 20p different. And I pay. Ṣé mo pé torí mo lówó ni mo ṣe lè ra yẹn? Ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́. Náà kò ń ṣe pé mo lè refuse láti jẹ McDonald's because in tèmi fẹ́ jẹ gangan mo ti mú kúrò lé. But I just thought that okay, kémi náà kàn fi treat ara mi. So possible bẹ́ẹ̀ kí wọ́n náà jáde nínú ilé ẹ tíyàwó ẹ̀ ṣóúnjẹ fún ẹ So wá ní extra owó tó lè ná. In tí United Nations sọ ni pé tó o bá ti ní $2 lójoojúmọ́ láti Monday títí di Friday, no, títí di Sunday, mo wá mọ̀ bóyá $2 yẹn bóyá fún èdè ni o, bóyá fún oúnjẹ àárọ̀ ni, bóyá fún oúnjẹ ọ̀sán, because I don't think $2 can survive you to eat 3 square meal. Láti ìgbà tí mo ti dé nísìn, aago 4 ebi ò tí pa mí. I have no reason to eat. Àwọn ọmọ tó dé láti school lọ ti ṣe oúnjẹ fún wọn, wọ́n ti jẹun. Oúnjẹ táwọn ọmọ yẹn jẹ, òun lélẹ̀, abọ́ wọn lélẹ̀, abọ́ tó fi jẹun lélẹ̀. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe rí fáwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀? Ṣé báwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀ náà ṣe ń jẹun nìyẹn tó bá dé láti iléèwé? Wọ́n ò rí iléèwé lọ now. There is no school for your children in that shithole country called Nigeria. Ìyà ló ń jẹ àwọn ọmọ ẹ, ló ń jẹ wọ́n náà. Ìyà yẹn la fẹ́ stop, ìyà yẹn ni Ìgbòho fẹ́ stop, ìyà yẹn ni gbogbo ariwo tá à ń pa lójoojúmọ́. Ó wá ń sọ pé ká shut up. Wọ́n ti ní kí n má bú yín mọ́, but máa educate yín, wàá máa bínú sí Nàìjíríà lójoojúmọ́. Wàá máa lọ bá àwọn politicians pé kí ló dé tí Koiki ń ta sí wa lórí social media. I have no money to give anybody ní Nàìjíríà. If tẹ́bí bá ń pa yín, ẹ lọ bá àwọn olóṣèlú tí wọ́n ń kówó yín jẹ. Let's continue. Ìyá máa jẹ ṣé gèsì lára ká tó débi tá à ń lọ. Ó kù díẹ̀ ni. Ti jẹ́ ìdọ̀tí kìíní tí mo ṣe print. Ìyá máa ṣe kí ni? Àjẹṣe gèsì lára. Kí ni mo sọ fún ẹ? Ìyá máa jẹ bàbá ṣé gèsì lára ká tó débi tá à ń lọ. Ẹ jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ, ẹ jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀. Torí pé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ òtítọ́ tá à ń sọ ní bíbá, ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́, ẹ fẹ́ máa lọ gbọ́ àwọn tó ń sọ ọ̀rọ̀ àlùfàǹṣá, ìyẹn lè fẹ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, no problem. Tèbí mo rí táwọn kan bára wọn jà nísìn, èmi ẹ kúkú mọ̀ mi, àwọn sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ní bíbá, tán bára wọn jà, àṣẹ. Mo sọ fún yín pé gbogbo charity organization kò lè solve problem ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. I am not against it. Kódà kí gbogbo wa ní charity organization kò lè solve problem yẹn. We need a government ló dé solve ẹ̀. Ìyẹn ni bàbá Akíntóyè sọ pé apart from eléyìí tá a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀, our youth development program will transform our nation. Kí ni youth development program tẹ́ ń ṣe? Àwọn tó wà Nàìjíríà ṣe bí gbogbo toilet yìí láàárín gbogbo youth corps àtẹ ló ń ṣe. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ eléyìí gangan tẹ̀kọ́ mo fẹ́ kà. So eléyìí kọ́ tó bọ́ sí èyí tí mo fẹ́ kà gangan ọ̀rọ̀ lé ló sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Mo bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ sórí Facebook mi because bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo post ẹ̀ sí. So ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ mú lórí Facebook because eléyìí tí mò ń ká gangan ìyẹn ó break it down. Ó sọ iye táwọn èèyàn ń gbà nílùú yìí, ó ṣe breakdown yẹn, mo ti post ẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ lọ sórí page mi. Èyí tí mò ń ká ìkọ ìyẹn ọ̀nàdá ó ti kọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀. Èyí tí mo fẹ́ kà yẹn gangan màá kà fún yín nísìn, ẹ fún mi ní few minutes. Màá lọ mú jáde nísìn. Àwọn ọmọ ẹ ló ọ ti gbé iPad wọn bí ṣe sọ lánàá, mathematics wọ́n ti ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Máa sọ pé they play, no problem. Gbogbo àjọ ń play náà ni. Gbogbo àjọ ń ṣe kí ni? Àjọ ń play ni. No problem. Ṣèrùpá ní ṣáàbì la ṣe ń jókòó la ń pariwo lójoojúmọ́. Ẹ bèrè ẹ̀tọ́ yín tó bá yá. Even tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ náà tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ Yorùbá nation ẹ lọ bèrè ẹ̀tọ́ yín. No problem. Ẹnu ẹ̀ ní gbogbo àjọ wà. Ẹ má bínú ẹ pé orí platform a máa ń post a lot of things, so mo ń lọ sọ́wọ́ sàlẹ̀ mi. Mo kí àwọn Koikimedia team, they are working back to back ló ń ṣiṣẹ́. Mo tẹ́ mọ̀ pé £10 owó ìyá ṣàlẹ̀, owó bàbá ṣàlẹ̀ kọ̀ sí ìyá ṣàlẹ̀ ti kú, so mo ní láti lọ wá £10 yẹn. Yeah, òrèlè. I posted this 10 hours ago. Èlé gangan ni mo fẹ́ kà. 10 hours ago. 10 hours ago ni mo posted. 10 hours ago. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Gbogbo yín pátápátá ni mo kí. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ìyá mi, ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, ẹ̀yin ẹ̀gbọ́n mi. Gbogbo yín láyọ̀ ẹnì kankan sílẹ̀. With the way some of you boldly tweet ignorantly, filthy on this hour, to justify the evils done by this government and defend the cruelty met out on helpless Nigerians, while you live abroad in a better country. Sherry and Tengbe abroad. Sherry and Gongon, and Tengbe abroad. No, we are not buying any ice cream. Ice cream, I'm afraid of. Don't say that. I don't care.
There's nothing good in there.
And abroad.
No.
You are the one making those at home feel that there is still hope in Nigeria, but you live with your family and your loved ones outside Nigeria, and you are pretenders. You are all pretenders. That you are still supporting this inept, corrupt APC government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We will hold you responsible for the suffering of millions of Nigerians as we continue to push for the right of the Yoruba people to exit that shit olórí burúkú country called Nigeria that the British put together. Ẹ farabalẹ̀, eléyìí gangan ni mo wá, èyí tí mo ń kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn, mo kàn lè sọ pé òun kọ́ ni, ẹ mọ̀ pé mi ti kà, but ìyẹn náà online, but eléyìí gangan mo fẹ́ kẹ́ farabalẹ̀, kẹ́ gbọ́n tí mo fẹ́ kà yìí. And I'll start again. And this was put together. Ẹni tó tweeted, màá fún yín ní handle in case you just want to go and follow him. I follow him underneath, and I did made a comment as well on this. And then on Facebook, I fún yín ní because Facebook has blocked me from commenting on my own page. Now, let's read this together. With the way some of you boldly tweet ignorantly, filthy on this app, yeah, or Twitter, don't pay the X. It might be new. You can't distract me. Go and sit down there side, my boy. That is too sticky. I'm on the right it, so let's continue. And it's just 3 days a week. With the way some of you boldly tweet ignorantly, filthy on this app to justify the evils done by this APC government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the cruelty meted out on the helpless Nigerians, while you live abroad in a better country, and you are nibiti ayedun, yet you're supporting this evil government. To someone your day entirely makwe lori life show. Some of us who live abroad need to be fiercely resist this intellectual witchcraft with cogent corrections for the sake of the naive audience who may swallow this junk talk. So let's clarify few things. Listen to this. In the United Kingdom, since you want to compare UK to Nigeria, the minimum wage in the UK is £11.44 per hour. That means that someone who works 8 hours per day will make £95.5 per day. If they work 5 days a week, that is £457 per week. And in the 4-week month, that is £1,830 a month. This means that in a year, their salary will be put under £21,960. You got that? Since we are doing illogical comparison, that means that someone in the UK on a minimum wage will make 289 naira per hour. 170,318 naira per day. 850,477 naira per week. Is using at the rate of 1-to-1 as equivalent, okay? I believe that's what is done. Now, it went further. That would mean that that person will be earning 3.4 million naira per month. Let me take it out again. Ẹni tó ń pa 21,000 pounds, 21,960 pounds a year at £11.44, according to the British government for the pay per hour. If we convert that back to naira, you should be making the same rate in the UK, 21,289 naira per hour, per year rather. I think per year. Then you should be making 170.318 naira per day. Then per week, it should be 850,477 naira per week. Taba multiply it by 4. That should be 3.4 million naira per month. This is the minimum wage in UK. Since you want to blindly compare United Kingdom to Nigeria. But of course, anybody with a brain knows you can't blindly make such comparison. But let's carry on. Now, this person on the minimum wage in the UK will have access to free health care for their children. They will have access to free primary and secondary school education. Our Lara uniform, Lara Bata. But what you man access is free education. They would also have quality. They will also qualify for free housing and subsidized housing and many other state-sponsored benefits for being on a minimum wage. Please, does Nigeria have any of these benefits for anyone on a minimum wage? Shey Nigeria supporting you through free health care for your children, free access to primary and secondary. Shebi any Baba Kito is sọ if we go and now read the one that we are going through right now, which is education. I'm going to read it quickly. Number 8 on page 30. It says, and I quote, we shall make our election, no, not this one, sorry. I think I'll see the education that we are looking to right now on this particular discussion. Tiba Bakito Yenika Mafi educate Arawa. So, where is the education? Once again, a very good afternoon. Moki brother, I'm in the grill. Why? And Koiki, we are age mates. You might put me brother. Some are today, listen. And then I post with Booking on Instagram. You are not bringing my own. What's going on? If I can't find it here, I will have to open the one on the laptop. So it will be on page 27. Page 27. Where's page 27? Because it's not a long one. Page 27. No, it'll be the next one. 27. Where's the education that we were treating? We shall revive and strengthen our education. I want to read it because Omar link more intimate because we are still discussing the education. I can show the laptop me quickly. Prosperity, guideline to prosperity. Yeah. Okay, continue. This is a live transmission you're watching. Shout out to many of you. I can't be mentioning names because it's getting hot already. First and foremost, revive our national character. No. Abnormally. That'll be the next one. Yeah. Olele. We shall make our why am I saying election? Education in work. strange. I don't know where it's gone now. That's strange. Let's take it slowly. One then. We shall revive and strengthen our education. So why I can't say it? Moki Bubualen can say very, very good afternoon. And we are just 24 minutes. This program is just under 2 hours today. So 24 minutes, I'll be ending this program, but I will complete as much as what we are discussing. We shall revive our educational system. Yeah, that's it. We shall revive and strengthen our education. That is what Professor Banji Akitoye said. Do you think that Tinubu can revive and strengthen the Nigerian education system? No. Because the education system in Nigeria will continue to depreciate. As I said, not even the basic toilet that I did not enjoy in 1995 in Abeokuta Grammar School. You will not enjoy it in the Nigeria today. Maybe if you have access to private education anyway. Education is the greatest enterprise of a modern Yoruba people. From the coming of school to the West Africa in about 1840, before the shit old 1914 amalgamation, ni Yoruba Tinkawi. Latiwa, well read. 1914 amalgamation, Koshe 1840, is 2 different days, 2 different years. The Yoruba led the rest of Africa, Bobo Africa, pata. We were ahead of them. That is why Baba Yense traveled, Losi Cairo, Wawaniko sign. Only how can I be stupid to sign? A man that read up to PhD. What am I signing? You wrote it in Arabic. I don't speak Arabic. It's because Nigeria could not give him an airline that can travel to a man with his own congregation for pilgrimage. So they had a stopover. Most of you have watched the video. We don't have to, and we played it on the full broadcast yesterday. Let's go further. We had free primary education. Started in 1955. The Yoruba Western region widened the gap very seriously. But since the shit or independence of Nigeria in 1960, various factors have combined to rob Ojawa Lole. Tobani rob. Ojawa Lole. Ole lo Jawa. And until we pull out of this mess, we will all drain inside it. And what I mean by that is, some of us will survive, especially some of us outside. How many of you have invested money in Nigeria? What has been the return? Even if there was a return, what is the return today in 2024 with the exchange rate? Business, I am not talking about people in the farm now. I am talking about legit Yoruba people, legit Nigerians that set up businesses from there to there. All those businesses are folding up gradually. So you can tell that since 2005, the Yorubas have never enjoyed anything out of Nigeria with education because Nigeria education budget has been 6%. Tinubu Kofi won Lilori. The budget for 2024 on education, me or doing one Tinubu Fule 6 or the 7. But do you know that when the late legend, the man that saw tomorrow, that did not want Yoruba people to live in abject poverty, made us to be able to build Cocoa House. Do you know what was behind it? The brains of the education of the Yoruba people. Probably maybe some few expatriates. You need them in any project around the world to date. You will need people that will come in and come down. But I'm sure that the Cocoa House was something designed, probably put together by Yoruba people. When we now started doing cocoa, for those in the farm, we bought the Nigerian High Commission in London known as number 9 Otuba land. But today, Yoruba people are backwards. Obafemi Awolowo was spending 40% of the economy budget, or the budget rather, in education. So you can see why the doctor says, and I quote again, if the person on a minimum wage in the United Kingdom will have access to free healthcare, their kids will access free primary and secondary education. And those that want to go to university, which you are funding the British system to make sure that they continue with their business center called university. It is a business center. I know it is a form of Japa, but your Children will no longer come with you because the UK says it is draining the system. That is why they've stopped the migration of your children to come with you as a student. If you want to leave them in Nigeria, leave them in Asia country, not only in Nigeria, leave them wherever they are. You want to go work out with, but if you're a PhD, you can still come with your family because they know that they need your brain. If you're on scholarship, oh yes, you are going to pay for it through your government. But how many of you can come and do your own master's or your own first degree? You have already attained first degree, even though it's on a shit old country called Nigeria. But you needed to come to UK and use that for a leverage to enter UK so that you can also be like Koikimedia. I am not discouraging those of you that wants to come. But the fact remains is that UK is a business center for university. I have said it, they know that it is already filling them now because many Nigerians that cannot bring their family because they want to Japa, they are looking for other alternatives. That is why there's so many people talking about immigration on the YouTube. Go there, type in UK visa to abroad. Why are we not getting Oyinbo people to come and study at University of Ile-Ife, at Ilorin University, at Lagos State University? If we were in our own independent Yoruba country, yes, we can have part exchange. We can go and do training outside the country, but people will no longer have to go for studying outside and supply your own hard-earned currency to another country like United Kingdom that made more millions of pounds sterling that some of your university never saw throughout their budget for the last 23 years. 44,000 Nigerians came to UK to study between 2021 and 2022, according to the data. And each one of them will pay £20,000 a year, equivalent to about 40 million naira. That is a business for every university in UK. So, calm down, but make sure you have enough money. Don't end up like the Nigerian students that are now stuck because the exchange rate changed from the $500 to 500 naira to $1. That is now 1,500 to $1. You will all cry. Sọ pé ó fẹ́ Yorùbá nation, sọ pé n tá à ń sọ kò make sense because ṣé òyìnbó tí mo sọ ló gbọ́ ni àbí Yorùbá tí mo fi sí láàrin méjèèjì. Wọ́n ní àwọn ọmọ nílùú yìí wọ́n wà ní àwọn òbí wọn kọ̀ọ̀kan, they are on what they called minimum wage, but they have access to so many things. The government subsidize their housing and so that àwọn àǹtí ẹ̀ tó ń sọ fún ẹ pé Nàìjíríà máa da máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé ṣé government is subsidizing? You will see how they will get angry quickly. You will see tó bá jẹ́ ètò lawyer ṣe wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ pé ọmọ kí mi ṣe full time ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ gbàwé mi irú àwa nísìn wọ́n ní you are not entitled to public recourse ẹ̀yin kankan nísìn you are entitled to it because ẹ ti gba British passport kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ káwa tó kùnà lérí ìgbà ẹ̀ sọ pa mi but it's a big job ṣòro wọ́n tó ṣe ń dé your children will not get benefit o bá kọ ọmọ mẹ́ta dé wàá fàṣẹ pa iṣẹ́ tó dẹ̀ máa ṣe náà ni iṣẹ́ tó ti clamp ẹ̀ mọ́ lórí which is health care àwọn COS gbogbo ilóye máa wò mí. Please, does Nigeria have any of these benefit for anyone on minimum wage? Ẹ bá ń fi sínú comment section. Ìtí Nigeria bá ní níbẹ̀. If you are elderly, does Nigeria have benefit for us, our parents? If you have little kids, àwọn ọmọ nísìn little kids ni wọ́n ti wọlé nísìn gbogbo ilẹ̀ mọ̀gbà tó wọlé tí mò ń kí wọn pọ́ káàbọ̀ láti school. Imagine ìtọ́ ti jẹ lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó dé yìí bó ṣe wá dé yẹn kí wọ́n sọ pé there is no food in the house. How do you think they're going to react? That is why your children are crying every day in the house. Because not that you are lazy, the system was not designed for Yoruba people to succeed. What about people that have disability? We will probably call them people that have physical challenge. If they care for someone who is dying, nobody prays for anybody to die, but sometimes people have terminal illness. People are sick and have to be taken care of. Does the government of Nigeria have this? Don't tell me Nigeria doesn't have the money for that. Nigeria has the money. But you are not part of Nigeria. They are state-sponsored benefit and payment that are available for anyone in the above categories. Again, I ask you, does Nigeria have any of these available for anyone in any of this category? Let's go further. Also, let it be noted that this person on a minimum wage in the United Kingdom will pay zero tax on any earning that is under 12,570. Kò ní gba kò ní sí tax lórí ẹ̀. Of their earnings and only pay 20% of 9,390 after. The UK is a working country and a working system. Nobody holds anybody's salary. Olofasheni láti Monday sí Friday. Ó wá dé cash machine ní UK. Nílùú ọba tó lọ́ba tó níjòyè. You now put your bank card. Sometimes there are mistakes, but I bet you they will rectify it within 2 hours. HR yẹn kò ní nísinmi. But in Yoruba land today, governor will tell you, yeah, we are owing you salary. How much salary? Governor, 7 months. Or that we pay you 2 months. That is what is happening in that crazy country you are calling Nigeria. Ìlú òfò, ìlú tí wọ́n náànú mẹ̀kúnnù, ìlú tí wọ́n láàánú yín, ìlú tí wọ́n ti jẹyín. Àwa ní kí gbogbo àjọ pull out. Ẹ tún wá ń sọ pé no, fẹ́ pull out. Bí ó ṣe ń jẹ wá yẹn ó tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. Jésù ń bọ̀, àtànábì máa wá ṣe. I am not saying that they are not coming, but it will take longer. In Nigeria, a governor can hold 7. Nobody pays 1/3 or one quarter. How can you go and work for a month? Why want you some 1/3? What did even Tinubu wants to dive his hand. Okay, for West, pension pot. Owó àwọn ìyá tó ti ṣiṣẹ́. Owó àwọn bàbá tó ti ṣiṣẹ́. Somebody is also confirming Baba our originally like ASU strike, half pay salary. What they deserve to be paid when the person expects full payment at the end of the month. In Nigeria, a governor can hold 7 months' salary, and the criminal will still be moving around undisturbed. Yaya Bello was owing money, but he was still taking money from Kogi State. I love to be using Yaya Bello because he's still the one that is fresh. So many of them like that. An American school. I wish American school in Nigeria is not collecting naira. Do you know that American school is smart? No, don't give us naira. It's a devalued shit-hole country. That is what they are telling you. American school is smart. No, we don't need naira because it is bouncing like that, like yo-yo. Bouncing. Yo-yo. American school, Banera. How can you be? Tinubu should tell them from today, everybody in that school will pay naira. That is what Tinubu. But Tinubu is a weaker element. It can't because no need baggage of problem. America, what about Bomoleni? Toba Dupain. Why release gbogbo sita fún David Odoye? David Odoye fẹ́ bá Tinubu jẹ́ ni. That young man, Tinubu collect us America under freedom of speech. I need all the evidence. When Tinubu was living in America, is he a drug dealer? Tinubu cocaine money. What compare me? I'm an accountant. I didn't know it's a cocaine money. America yababu mole. America more visa to Tinubu fi koko di America. You think that UK doesn't know the kind of visa that used to arrive in this country? Imagine 30 years from now. Even after we have Yoruba nation, and now say, when I was in UK, I did not do this. You can go and find out what's happening. Because 30 years from now, you think people have not tried to find out more about me? Why did you find out? You couldn't find anything. Idiot all over the place. So, David Odoye wanted to pull a lot of things from America under Tinubu. America said, hey, David, we know there's freedom of speech, freedom of this, but it has a level. No, Tinubu is not the president. How are you, princess? Tinubu is not a president. We cover it because he's the weaker element. Don't you know that American businesses all over the world, American government makes sure that they are being protected. How can an American school in Nigeria, in Africa, they are paying dollar and you are still saying that there's a country? Can I go? Okay, kí ló dé tó ṣe sọ fún British University that you want to pay in naira? Oh, ṣe sọ fún British pé naira ló máa fi sanwó. You know what they'll tell you? You need to be in mental home so that we can look after you. And you 30 days, and also from you are not paying no more in pounds. You want to be paying in naira. You see how that is? So a country that is meant to be the most populous black nation, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't represent you. It doesn't represent me. We are all under poverty. I Japa, as some of you are currently Japas. And you are in Japas. Because Motifi SC. I Japa. Let's go further. Because we are just 9 minutes to the end of this program. No 7-month salary. And the criminal will still be moving around, like Yaya Bello with their SUV and their bulletproof car. Nobody can try that as an employer in the UK. Láti jọ́tí wọ̀ ti dé UK. Látẹ̀yìn ti dé UK kí n fi respect sí. Have they hold you salary? Though àwọn kan máa ń ṣe fúnra wọn, àwọn tabẹ́lé nìyẹn. But you dare not owe me salary if I work for you. My bẹ fan tó tán nílẹ̀ nílùú yìí. You dare not. And ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wà nílùú yìí, mo sọ ẹ̀yin tí if you are here legitimately, you have the right to be in this country, and anybody dare ní gbogbo Peckham ní gbogbo tó ti ṣe businesses ní Nàìjíríà nílùú yìí, anybody bá tó bá yàn yín jẹ, ẹ sọ fún Koikimedia, má ẹjẹ ń dé mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. You dare not owe anybody. Mo sọ ẹ̀yin tí oyè yín ká má fi gbẹnu sọ̀rọ̀. But if you have the right to be in this country, they must pay you minimum wage. Not £10, not £9, it's £11.44. Hours to buy ṣe lọ́gbọ́dọ̀ san fún ẹ. They dare not. We would expose you. Tẹ́ ẹ bá gbà ká sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn lábẹ́lẹ̀ ká yanjú ẹ̀. Máa gbé wá sí public. Máa wá síwájú business yìí, máa pariwo mọ́ yín, and I'll report you to the government. You dare not. Ibi bá fi ṣe Nàìjíríà o, ẹ wojú mi dáadáa. I'm not threatening you. You dare not. Ni mo sọ. Tó bá yàn yín jẹ, ẹ pè mí lẹ́yìn. Ẹ pè mí lẹ́yìn. Kẹ́ sọrúkọ business yẹn fún mi. You dare not. Yan ọmọ Nigeria, even if they are still Nigerians, because Nigeria is still a country. Kò tí break. It's still a country. You dare not. Let's go further. Nobody can try as an employer in UK. There are government agencies and policies to protect people from such madness. Emiko Mukokiniyu, favorable doctor, local lórí Twitter, láàárọ̀. Do we have that in Nigeria? With a triple question mark. We're not taking calls and we're not bringing anybody in for this program, probably maybe tomorrow. In Nigeria, to wrap it up quickly, there is almost zero free quality schools. There is almost zero access to free healthcare. There is almost zero housing available to the poor, unemployed, or people on a minimum wage. In the UK, rent is paid weekly or monthly, never yearly. In Nigeria, a landlord will collect 2 years' rent ahead as though big to jẹ́ pé ibi tó ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ wọ́n sanwó 2 years from upfront. As an employer pays you 2 years' salary in advance. That is what Olori Buruku Yaya Bello have done. He's paying in advance for his own children to complete their education, even in another 3-4 years. Oh, to somewhere up front. America was like, we are sorry. American school in Abuja. I don't know the name. That's why I keep saying American school. We are sorry. We return the money back to EFCC. We are very pressed with time, and I have 6 minutes, and I want to bring the program to an end, because I have other things to take care of. But I love every one of you. All your comments, I've read it. I appreciate you. Even those of you that disagree with me, you have the right to disagree with me. But the truth remains that Nigeria is a shithole country. We're almost there. How some of you can still do this kind of disingenuous tweeting is a shocker, especially knowing simply say this in bid to tactically justify the continued oppression of Nigeria. There are some Yoruba people that probably don't want to talk about self-determination, but they are fighting every day for the masses. and we understand them. Somebody like this doctor, I've not seen him talk about Yoruba nation, but he's a man that fights all the time for millions of you, even though he also said in his bio on his Twitter, and it goes like this: I am a medical doctor, a family physician, a libertarian, Nigeria by birth, British by economic circumstances, just like Koikimedia. British by circumstances. I mean, this is British. Let's leave it like this for this afternoon. Be rest assured that many of you knows that our people have been traumatized, tortured by the wicked, insensitive, humane on a daily basis, or the daily policies of President Bola Tinubu's government that are determined to make life hell for millions of its citizens. I hope one day many of you will play this video back and say, "Lóòótọ́, I disagree pẹ̀lú Koiki nígbà yẹn." But I hope you will come out and apologize to not just me, but to the Yoruba nation campaigners. You will probably write it out. You probably speak it out. But for now, it's okay to disagree with us. That you will save Nigeria because you are the smartest among us. I will law university, but 24 years in UK is like university 24 years Nimolo. You will write it out. But for now, ẹ máa bú wa, ẹ fi oríṣiríṣi yí wa lára, kódà ẹ máa ṣe oríṣiríṣi. But in tí mo mọ̀ ni pé Ọba Elédùmarè, Jésù Kristi, Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, àwa tá dúró pé kíran wa kíyà tó ń jẹ wọ́n yìí kó má jẹ wá mọ́, kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. And I'll leave it like that. Àwọn ò ní ṣépè fún yín mọ́. My mom has pleaded with me pé kí n má ṣépè mọ́, kí n má búyàn kankan mọ́, but kò ń ṣe bí tàwọn olóṣèlú. But ẹ̀yin just normal people that don't struggle. I will leave it like that. But olóṣèlú ẹ máa gbèpè lẹ́nu mi until tí bá rí pé lóòótọ́ ẹ̀mí yín ti ń padà wálé díẹ̀díẹ̀. But for now, I'll demo bẹ́ẹ̀. A tún máa pàdé nígbà tó Ọba Elédùmarè. Ẹ lọ wo gbogbo àwọn videos mi tí mo post lénìí. Go and enjoy it. Mo tún ṣe post àwọn nǹkan tí mo ṣe nínú Asda. Gàrí tó ń tà. Gàrí is £3.75 nínú Asda. Mo rí Guinness. Gbogbo ẹ̀ ni mo rí. Ní lọ ká má gbọ́wọ́. A ṣe 2 hours. Ẹ sanwó fún mi, ẹ san salary fún mi náà. That's 20. Èló ní ẹ jẹ́ 2 hours at £11.44. Ẹ bá mi fi sínú comment section. Karen tó máa sọ pé Koiki ó dá èmi á sanwó 1 hour. Kẹ́lòmí náà sanwó 1 hour. Ta ló máa sanwó 1 hour? Ẹ lè san ní náírà náà. Ẹ bá ń convert ẹ̀. Tẹ bá san sí náírà, oníṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe. Tẹ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ fún mi ní dọ́là, ẹ sọ fún mi. It is organic to ask for money, okay? Èmi ò dẹ̀ bòrè mo béèrè owó àìsàn. Owó tí máa lè lò ni mò ń béèrè. So £11.44 méjì á jẹ́ £28 kan nìyẹn. Kò ń ṣe owó tó pọ̀. A lè rí nǹkan tó máa ní Koiki dà ìmá fún £30. Bàbá ríyàn mẹ́ta tó bá fún wa náà kò pọ̀ jù. A jẹ́ pé ẹ ti sanwó tànà, ìta ṣe lánàá, ẹ̀mọ̀ bá gbowó lánàá. Tá bá sà lọ ṣiṣẹ́ níta wá sanwó fún mi. Ẹ lọ wo Volvo tí mo láǹfààní àti rí. Brother mi kan ní Koiki máa bọ̀. Jẹ́ ń gbé e débẹ̀. Mo ní níbo? Máa bọ̀ kí n gbé e débẹ̀. Kó wá wo Volvo tó kàn máa fi káàdì lásán tó máa fi tẹ̀tílẹ̀kùn máa ṣí. Mo ní ẹ lọ wo Volvo yẹn. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹja jí. Ẹ sọ mo sọ pé màmá gbé káàkiri UK. Brother mi kan ló pè mí. Koiki máa bọ̀. Ibi tóun ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ ni. Máa bọ̀ sẹ́ẹ̀. Mo ní níbo? Àní kó wá wo Volvo tó túnṣẹ̀ jáde. Àwọn mọ́tò tó fẹ́ jáde ní September. Ẹ lọ gbogbo àwọn videos tí mo post ní gbogbo platforms wa. Kẹ́ lọ gbádùn ẹ̀. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. Ẹ má bínú pé mo lè dárúkọ. Mo kí bàbá Akíntóyè, mo kí Gbòwó, mo kí Ọ̀túnba Adémọ́lá, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko. Èmi ló ń pè ní Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. Mo ní èmi ní last man standing lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. Kò ní sú wa, kò ní rẹ gbogbo wa. Ká tún pàdé. Ẹ kúkú mọ bó ṣe ń lọ. Máa jẹun ní mo lè jẹ̀bà nísìn kí n mu gàrí nísìn kí n lọ sùn díẹ̀. Tó bá tún dọwọ́ lóru, àtúnjáde padà. On that note, Yoruba nation no going back. Money. Okay. Money in October. láìpẹ́ yìí officially ọmọ announce ẹ̀ mo kàn ń ṣe amẹ̀bọ̀ fún yín ni olóyè Ìgbòho dé London tán ká bàbà ká pìyà máma míyà ó ń bọ̀ ní London a máa jẹ dínà kò ń ṣe ọ̀fẹ́ o ó máa ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì mi ẹ̀yin ará Europe a máa fún yín enough time 3 months ẹ ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì kẹ́ pàdé wọn lóyè ní London ní October rally máa jáde gbẹ́ngbẹ́ng láti London ní bíbá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ iṣẹ́ ń lọ lẹ́yìn Koikimedia bringing the world closer to your doorstep ẹ bá mi kàtẹ́ bá mọ̀ iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa forílẹ̀ ibi wa kàgbéga falẹ̀rí ìgbàgbọ́ wà ní pé bàtí bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká jọlá ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa ìtẹ̀síwájú ẹ̀yin náà ẹ̀ka ìtókù and on that note ciao bye for now.